Good day, Tide Point, and welcome to this month's Town Hall meeting. If I haven't had a chance to meet you, my name is Michael Friedel, your Executive Director, and this month we are coming to you via Channel 1391, and I apologize for not having a live Town Hall this month. I had a meeting that I needed to attend out in Charleston, South Carolina, my first time there, but I rest assured next month we'll have Mingle with Mike, and we'll also have the Town Hall meeting live. So with that, let me just review the agenda that we're going to go over today, and got some great information for you. It's going to be a little briefer than our normal town halls, but it's still great information. And the first thing on our agenda today is, how do we communicate in this community? How do we communicate to you? How do you communicate back to us? There's many ways that we do that. I'm going to drill down on that a little bit, and then also I'm going to talk about a therapy transition that is going to be taking place with therapy providers. I shared a little bit about that with Mingle with Mike, but I want to make sure all our members have that information before this transition actually takes place. And then lastly, I'm gonna provide some dining updates for you, just about some things that are happening within the community, within dining specifically. And then lastly, I'm just going to touch on where are we in the process of interviewing for our Director of Finance and for our Director of Dining, and then we also have a sous chef position open, so I'm going to share that as well. So let's get into the communication component. We communicate with you in many different ways via many different venues, and we do that on a daily basis. Also, we do it weekly, and we communicate monthly, and then there's also ongoing communications, and it's just not myself that is communicating or you communicating back to me. We also have our cabinet members communicating. We also have our board and committees, committee chairs communicating. So we do that in many different ways, and I'm sure you feel, and I know I feel that, or I hope you feel, and I know I feel that communication is one of the keys to success. There's always rooms for opportunity, and as I wrap up this presentation, if you have any other thoughts or ideas in terms of how we can improve our communication to you, please feel free to reach out and let me know. So on a daily basis, we communicate to you. One, it's the obvious. We have the digital screen out by the Calabogie room, the Magnolia room, up on the wall there. It's just a scrolling screen that you can pull information. It's actually fed through the app and onto that digital screen. So we communicate via that board, but we also have bulletin boards that are in the mail rooms that we communicate to you as well. And then comment cards are big ways that you communicate to us, and you can do that in many different ways. You can do it via the app, which is really nice because then it's submitted electronically, and then it lands in some of our cabinet members' mailboxes, emails. And then also you can do a hard copy of that. So we have them available in our dining rooms. I would say that regularly we get 2 to 3. If there's a really great menu or an exciting night or just outstanding service, sometimes it's even more than that. So we do appreciate those comment cards coming in and all that information that we get, because ultimately that helps us deliver stronger services, better services to you. And then recently we actually rolled out a housekeeping comment card. So I know Rhonda's very excited about getting that feedback. We've got some good feedback. And I know the staff's excited about, hearing the feedback that they get from the members in terms of what's working well and where the opportunities are. The nice thing about the comment cards when they come in, I know at least for dining, is that they actually tabulate them and they're reported back out at the dining committee. And they're actually, we sort of track and trend them, over each month and then over each quarter to see what kind of trends that we're getting. And then there's also the app, the Tide Point app. That is, in my opinion, one of the best ways to communicate to you and get information out to you, because it's at your fingertips. So we can get information out quick, and if you're tied into the app, you can pull that information up. As a matter of fact, we do hear from time to time that not only that you appreciate that, but also if we're not quick enough to get that information changed, we hear from you as well. And that keeps us sharp on our end, knowing that we need to do a better job in getting that information updated more consistently. Other ways that we connect are through our departments. So, in the administration office, we have folks come in all the time talking to Phyllis, talking to me, or even talking to our Director of Finance. And I know that it's the same for our lifestyles, our resident services, for maintenance, for dining. So there's many ways that we connect back and forth through our departments, through our leaders. And then ultimately channel 1391, which is, in my opinion, just one of the greatest ways that we can deliver information to you right into your home. So that's a true benefit. So that's daily communication. Then on a weekly basis, there's just a few ways that we get information out on a weekly basis, because most of it is daily. But the executive director memos, so some information comes to me last minute that I feel I need to get out. I need to get out in a timely manner. Yes, I can put it on the app, but I want to make sure that it's in your hands and that you're getting that. So then I will type up a memo and work with our team to get that into your mailbox. And then also the bulletin boards are updated on a weekly basis. Yes, you have that information on a daily basis, but then on a weekly basis, Joy goes back in to ensure everything's updated and current. On a monthly basis, we have the member town hall meeting, which is the fourth Thursday of the month. We're in a pretty good cadence with that. Through the first 5 months of the year, we've actually used the town hall to share information about hurricane preparedness or fire emergency plans, which has been really good. I try to keep you updated on all the relevant information that is coming through. Most recently, it was the work order system, and in a way, just talking about how you can put in a work order and how that system flows once you put that work order in. So just a lot of ways that we can share through the member town hall. And then also we have the Mingle with Mike, which is one of my favorites, where I'll provide updates, just brief updates, and then open the floor for comments. And in my opinion, it's just one of the ways that we can have open communication, transparent communication. I do appreciate all your feedback. It helps us to raise the bar to be able to deliver a higher level of service to you. And that's one of the nicest things that I like about that. We have the President's newsletter. Mr. Perryman, on a monthly basis, puts together a newsletter and puts information out, which is just another great tool from our board chair. And then you have the board and committee minutes, which are really just a summary of those meetings that take place, the information that was reviewed, consolidated into minutes, and then shared back to you. And that information is available on the app. Two other key ways that we communicate on a monthly basis. We have the Tide, which is just a great tool that Joy and her team puts together with all relevant and current information about what's happening in the community and what's going to be happening in the community. And then we also have the V Living magazine, which is just another great tool that we use. Not only keeps you updated on V Living in general in terms of other communities and what might be going on, but also features some of our members here and some of the gifts that they share with the community. Finally, we have ongoing communication. So that could be the new resident orientation that takes place, and recently our lifestyle committee just revamped and reworked that orientation to really streamline it, to ensure that it's really having a great impact on our new residents that are moving in. We have current residents that are here that actually help support that program. So the new resident orientation, and then we have emergency notifications that I will put out via our alert media system. And essentially, if there's some type of an emergency some type of an emergent challenge that is coming up, such as high winds, heavy rains, heavy thunderstorms, I will get something out ahead of that, just as a reminder that, hey, this is going to be happening in the near future, and just be prepared and be aware. So they're generally last minute. They go right to your phone or email. And I try to hold back on using that only for emergent situations, so you know that when it comes through, it truly is an emergency. So once again, these are some of the ways that we communicate throughout the community. I'm sure there's many more opportunities. If you have any thoughts on what we could do better, certainly would love to hear your feedback. I think we've, over the last 9 months since I've been here, have actually systematically improved our communication out to you. I hope you'll appreciate that. But if there's still opportunities out there, please let us know. Let me jump over to the therapy transition. I shared this in my Mingle with Mike follow-up document that I sent out, but also shared it at Mingle with Mike and thought it's worthy of sharing again because many of our members use Part B therapy services and independent living. So the company that we've had in place for many years, Select Rehab, has done a good job for us. But there's been some identified opportunities that we've seen as a company, because not only is Select Rehab here, but also in the other 9 communities. And as a result of that, we've decided to move forward with another company called Aegis Therapy. August 1st is the date that Aegis will start with us. Select Rehab's last day with us is going to be July 31st. So over the last month or so, we have been working on a transition plan. As a matter of fact, last week, a couple of the vice presidents from Aegis came down, talked with us. We reviewed the program that we would expect here. They reviewed their program that they have that is going to meet our needs. And so we're really looking forward to that transition taking place. So based on my experiences, when you go through these types of transitions, there might be a couple hiccups because essentially what is going to happen on the 31st, Select's going to be out, and then on the 1st, Aegis will be in. But they do coordinate some of the information to try and minimize any hiccups with patient care. So if you do have any challenges, you can feel free to reach out to our administrator, Jennifer Whiting, in our care center. She's going to be the point of contact over there as that transition takes place. Now, one of the things that I've heard, some of the feedback that I've heard from some of our members about this transition is that, geez, I'm getting really good services from the therapy provider, the individual that is taking care of me or my spouse, and I'd like to see that continue. So I've expressed that with the new therapy company and the leadership there, and they're going to do their best to hire on current employees that are doing a really good job for us. So any employee that is interested in staying, they just need to submit their application with the new company. They'll go through the interview process, and of course we have an opportunity to weigh in as leaders of this community in terms of those folks that we would like to keep. So as I hear more, I'll keep you updated, but just wanted to ensure that you're in the loop. So once again, August 1st, our new therapy provider starts, and it should be fairly seamless for you. And I would imagine that ahead of that transition, if there's any additional information needed, they would be reaching out, Select Rehab would be reaching out to you so that we can ensure that that's going to provide some continuity of care as we go with the new company. Then lastly, I'd like to provide some updates around dining. And one of the biggest topics that we've been talking about over the last month or so is the Calabogie room, the casual dining room, and a lot of folks were concerned about the coasters that we've had in that dining room, but also there was some concerns, why don't we have tablecloths in that dining room? So we've actually been able to get some feedback from some of our members. We got some feedback from the dining committee, and we've made a decision that we're going to eliminate and discontinue the coasters that are currently being used on the tabletop, but we will stick with our standard that V uses throughout all its communities in all their casual dining rooms, and that is a placemat. So we've identified a really nice placemat, basket weave, that'll sit right in front of you. The silverware will go right on top of that with the napkin. The glass will go right on the corner of the placemat. The coaster will go away, and we really feel that this is going to create a really nice dining experience for you. The glass is going to be on the table mat, so we're thinking that we're not going to see the water running across all the table like we were with the coasters. So I'm really excited about this. This is something that I fully support. The tables look great. When I was sitting down with that placemat, it felt really good. The dining committee liked what we showed them as well, and they gave us the thumbs up to be able to move forward. Now, recently, I just want to share that I have been out to other casual dining rooms in the area, really nice communities, plantations locally here, and in their casual dining room, the last place I ate just last week had a placemat, and they had what we call a roll up, which is just the silverware rolled up in a napkin on top with the glass there. Very simple, but it was a casual dining room. So what we're doing is really not a lot different than what you'll see externally in casual dining rooms, and I think you'll like it. So some other information about buffets. So our next buffet is going to be scheduled for Thursday, July 4th from 11 to 2, and I've heard a lot of positive feedback about the Memorial Day buffet and then also the Sunday brunch that took place. A lot of excitement. It created a lot of buzz in the community, and probably 4 years since we did our last buffet. So Chef Brian and the culinary team and the dining team are really excited about delivering a great experience for you on Thursday, July 4th. And then in addition to that, we're looking for our next Sunday brunch is going to be in the month of August. So just a reminder that when we I was talking about kicking off buffets with Memorial Day buffet. I was sharing with you that I would like to do a once a month cadence with buffets, um, as we move forward. So really hope that you enjoy that Thursday, July 4th, and then looking forward, we're going to have one in August. Just one other update I'd like to share about dining is you may remember a while back I was sharing that in the Calabogie dining room we wanted to upgrade the lighting to include dimmer switches, and we're actually getting close to nailing down a date for that. And really what that's going to involve is that once we do identify the date, the electricians will need to come in. We're going to have to shut down that dining room for at least a day, possibly a day and a half. We're hoping a day. They'll need to come in. They'll need to get up into the ceiling. They're going to need to wire all the lights together for these dimmer switches to work. So it's going to take some time. They're going to have a crew come in and once again, hopefully nail it one day. But that will take care of our dimmer switches in the dining room. But also that same day that we're closed, Quentin is trying to coordinate another company to be able to come in and replace those swinging doors that we have that go from the dining room into the kitchen service area. So those doors are getting old, the hinges and the door jambs are starting to be somewhat in disrepair. So you can't just repair them, you have to actually replace them. So that same day we're looking to replace those doors. It will be the enter door and the exit door back into the dining room. So once again, I hope that we can do that in a day. We'll get some additional information out to you. What that would look like, high level, would be our continental breakfast would be in the club room for that day. We'll probably open up the Magnolia room for lunch, and then we would have the Magnolia room open for dinner, probably the club room open for dinner, and maybe even some seating in the lounge area, if depending on the number of reservations that we have, just to be able to get through that day. So we're going to do our best to try and minimize the impact to you. We don't like to close our venues unless absolutely necessary, but we're really excited about getting dimmers in there because I know that you've been waiting for those. Before we fully wrap up today, I'd like to share some updates in regards to a couple of the key positions on the cabinet that we have open right now, one being the Director of Finance, the other being the Director of Dining. I would love to sit here or stand here and say right now that I have those positions full, but they're not filled at this point. So anyway, in terms of the Director of Finance position, we had a great local candidate that interviewed last week. She did so well that we actually had her set up for a second interview, which took place on Friday, and I'm hoping to get some additional updates about how that interview went with her from last week, so then we can make a decision: do we bring her back in for another round with our cabinet and then some of the key individuals in the accounting department. So I'm excited about this local candidate. I'm not going to share her name right now, but I'm really excited about her, and I think if she did well in the corporate interview, then I think we're going to bring her in. So, but more to come on that. And then with the Director of Dining candidate position open, so we've had 3 interviews recently that have taken place, and there is a local candidate for that position that we are actually going through the assessment process with them. If everything goes well there, then we're going to bring that candidate in for a second interview as well. And as long as that goes well, then we will be moving forward with that candidate. But that is yet to be seen. So the long story short, on the 2 director positions that we have open, they're moving along in the process. We're getting close to the final round with them, but we'll see how it plays out. So best case scenario that I might have a Director of Finance announcement next week, and then possibly the director position within the next 2 weeks. And then the last position, the key position that we have available, is a sous chef position in the kitchen. And I'm just really excited about some of the candidates that we're seeing. Last Friday, we had a candidate that was in. She is a sous chef, but has actually gone through the certification process and is recognized with the American Culinary Federation as a certified executive chef. And she just knocked the socks off of it. And so generally what we will do is not only the in-person interviews with different leaders, not only here but also at the corporate office, but with the chef's positions, they got to come in and they got to really show us that they can cook. So there's actually a chef's test that we call it, and they are given a market basket of food. Then they have to create a menu, and then they have to, out of that menu, they got to create an appetizer, a soup appetizer, a salad, and then 3 entrees, and then deliver them to a panel where we would taste it. So that's pretty intense, and that's all done within 3 hours. You may have seen Iron Chef on TV, very similar to that. A lot of pressure, fast paced, got to make quick decisions. You got to expect there's going to be some hiccups along the way, and that really tests the chef's skills. How do you navigate through that world? You know, if something doesn't cook the way it should, or whatever the scenario is. So we had a great chef's test on Friday. We'll see where that leads us. We have 2 other candidates that we're going to be moving through with the chef test. And then once we get that done, we'll be able to make a sous chef decision and then make an announcement around that. So we're getting closer, not fully there, but within the next 4 weeks, I'm hoping to have all these positions filled and in place. I know that's wishful thinking, but I'd really like to be there by the end of July. So with that, I'm gonna wrap up today's town hall meeting. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you at the next Mingle with Mike, which is going to be Thursday, July 11th, which is the second Thursday of July at 10 a.m. in the morning. So we will see you there. Thank you, Tide Point. Have a great day.